Utter chaos. Okay, for real this time. I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is the Morally Grayscale.
Where we talk all things bookishly gray.
To be fair, I forgot what we were calling for a second. I was like, morally gray. We are a podcast for sure, though. I say, yeah, that was great. We're so good at this. This is not awkward at all.
Okay, we're fine.
Are we?
We literally did this not just fine last week, but
we did it smoothly, at least, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna have something awkward with every episode.
Every episode.
Is that who we are?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do we keep it?
We keep it.
We keep it.
We're awkward. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to the grayscale.
At least you remember the word gray. Okay, so on Book Talk this week, have you seen the drama going on with that one content creator where she was saying that she doesn't like reading wrap-ups because it makes her feel inferior? And I'm not going to say her ad or anything because I actually don't want her to get any hate, but did you see that this week?
Yes. Yes. Where it was like the reading wrap-up number, like the number of books that you read is harmful.
Because it makes you compare yourself.
So it can make people feel insecure about like only reading one book or maybe even not finishing a book.
There's no judgment. However many books you read, I'm proud of you for reading. Like 100%.
Yeah. Book Talk is literally supposed to be, which this is a whole different Book Talk drama, is supposed to be like to bring people together, and I feel like lately it's just separating them.
Yes.
It's like there's so much more hate, and if people post something that they don't like, that a lot of people like, they get a lot of unnecessary like hate.
Yeah.
Books are just there for enjoyment, whether you like whatever somebody else does or you don't. Like, don't yuck somebody's yum, right? You know?
And Brit in her books, she said, what you eat doesn't make somebody else shit. So, and I really like that, because what I'm doing with my life does not affect what you're doing with your life. Yeah. What I'm reading does not affect what you're reading. If I read 5 books because I'm in a book slump, and you read 20 books, I'm not going to look at you and be like, I wish I could read 20 books. Like,
yeah.
And if I do, that's not your problem. It's, that's on me.
Yeah.
For being insecure with my reading. So I think that even happened back in January, but I started seeing the responses more in the past like week or two. And so.
Yeah. It's definitely like, you're not responsible for other people's triggers.
Yeah. 100%.
Especially when it comes to something that's for entertainment. And like, perfect example is our 2024 reading wrap-ups on Goodreads. Is I read, I think, like 135 books last year, totaled up to 50,000 some odd pages.
Yeah. And then I read 105 books last year, but I read 49,000 pages. So our pages read are very similar, with like within 1,000. Yeah. But I read 30 less books, but I was reading chonkers there at the end of the year. So yeah, it doesn't, like, I look at her number of books, I'm like, oh, I'm less than, I didn't read as many. And that's not necessarily true.
Yeah. I also have more time on my hands.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the year, I had a lot more time on my hands because of the work trip that I was on, and I could sit there and power through a book in a day. It's all about what is available to you on your time. Yeah. And nobody should feel bad for their book numbers by any means. We love that everybody is reading.
Yeah.
Whether it be Llama Llama.
Llama Llama Nighty Night, one of my favorites. It's a banger. You should check it out for sure.
Or it be a chonker like any Brandon Sanderson book.
Yeah. I've done both.
Yeah. Also, nice little update. There are some upcoming releases.
Yes. So on 4 March, we have Wildside by Elsie Silver, which I haven't started Wild Love yet. I haven't started the series, but we do have a trip coming up, and there's going to be some bookish content during that trip.
We do.
So maybe pay attention for the, our TikTok's coming up shortly.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram.
Was that a shameless plug?
Definitely.
Okay, good.
Definitely a plug. Follow us and come along with us on our trip.
Where we may or may not read Wild Love. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'll read Wild Love. You can read something dark.
What's a signal to send help? I need that right now. What else is coming out?
So Unlock the Dark was actually released on the 25th. Yeah. It's by Sasa Hawk. It has gotten some hype on TikTok that I have seen. It's another fantasy novel. Demi Winters gave it 5 stars on Goodreads.
I'm sold.
So
instantly sold.
I'm gonna read it.
100%.
Yeah.
Also coming out for March is Oathbound, which I am excited for. I read Legendborn, the first one. I DNF'd the second one, but it wasn't like on purpose. I think something else was going on, and I just kind of stopped reading in the middle, but I do want to get back into it, because the first book I did give 5 stars, and so I want to read the whole series. YA series, very, very good. It's a King Arthur retelling, so yeah, I actually think you would really like it.
I might.
It's YA, but it's like an elevated, like more mature YA. It's not like written in that like immature type way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think you would actually really like it.
I
would
will
take
add it to my never-ending TBR.
in 5 years, maybe.
Maybe I'll get there eventually.
Ooh, okay. So this week we're going to be talking about our vibe with characters and our not so vibe with characters. Yeah. You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start with my vibe with characters. My first one. This is, I think a lot of people have read it, but this might not necessarily be to our I don't want to say target audience, but like our typical audience, because it's a historical fiction. It's not fantasy. It's not dark romance or anything. It's The Nightingale. And most people think that I would say the main character who's the Nightingale, but I'm going to say her sister who's Vianne. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And if I'm not, I'm so sorry. You guys can come for me later. This book takes place in Nazi-occupied France.
I feel like that might be on the grayscale a little bit.
It definitely is. And there are characters that are on the grayscale for sure. Because they're trying to survive, but also rebel against the Nazis. So they're trying to do they're trying to conform, but also not at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Vianne has a child, and she's doing everything to keep her child safe throughout this entire book. There's even a character that is Nazi and lives with her for a little while, and they get along decently well, but she ends up having to... And then the person that moves in after is a lot worse, and a lot of bad things happen to her, and I'm not going to go into detail, but she does what she has to do to rebel, but survive and keep her child safe. And that really speaks to me as a mother and everything. To keep my child safe, I do whatever I have to do. To include somebody.
I mean, I'm going to repeat. That sounds like a grayscale book.
It's pretty good. I suggest reading it. It's also a little bit of a tearjerker, but
yeah.
So I definitely recommend it if you like any kind of historical fiction. And Kristen Hanna does phenomenal she does her research, and she legitimately really does her research on these books.
Yeah.
So what's your vibe with character? Your first one.
Okay, well, first I kind of want to touch on, the grayscale doesn't always have to be romantic gray, right? Because I don't always read dark romances. Mm-hmm. You don't always read romances. Mm-hmm. Every now and then we have to take a step back and read, a nice little palette cleanser.
Yeah.
Typically my palette cleansers are horror, which is automatically... that's gonna be pretty
dark.
Pretty gray. I would say probably some of them are morally black, and maybe not even morally black. But my first vibe with character is, no surprise here, I talked about it last time, Tyson Crawford.
I'm gonna have any more on this one.
So Tyson Crawford is the MMC from The Sacrifice.
Okay.
which is from the Lord series. You would hate it.
More than likely. I'm so sorry. That's Chantel Tessier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. It's not you, it's me. I swear.
But he is, it's real good. He may or may not, and he does, handpick his bride and ruin her wedding and make it his, and hers, not just him. But he would literally burn the world for this woman.
Love that.
Also, I love that book because it dives a little bit more into the mystery that's going on in this series, of what is happening to some girls and disappearings and all of that. So I like that it really kind of is starting to tie together just...
Okay, so this is like, is it like an interconnected standalone with an overarching plot line? Is that how these books work?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting though. I like that.
Yeah. If it wasn't as dark as it was, I think you would like it.
Yeah.
But it is on the darker side.
Dark.
Where some bad things bad things happen to people,
I don't know about that. Maybe one day. Maybe like I'll start darkening up a little bit.
There's some questionable things, but it's okay. I'll read it.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
I can't yuck your yum. I support you in this. Okay, my second person. So I feel like I picked 3 that are very across the board to kind of showcase like everywhere that I read. So I'm going into the Stormlight Archives and I'm choosing Dalinar. Daddy Dalinar. Okay, so he is in his 50s and he's described as not being super good looking, but I'm sorry, no matter how many times I read this man is a silver fox to me.
So one of our friends who has also read the Stormlight Archives,
Yes,
has also told me that he is a silver fox in her head.
He is.
So, and we, an older man is good.
We love an older man.
Yeah.
So he sounds very attractive. This man, okay, in the first 2 books, you learn, or you're getting like snippets that he used to be like a warmonger a little bit, but he's definitely trying to change. He gets married. She is so good for him. Actually, who he marries is his brother's ex-wife.
Ooh, tea.
Yeah, right? Right? Doesn't this sound like a romance book?
Okay, tea.
Right. And then he has kind of his own dedicated book. It's not his book. You still see all the characters, but it has his backstory in it. And during his backstory, because you're like, oh, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. And you're like, oh, fuck, he's a warmonger.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit. I gotta stop cussing. And
It's fine.
and you see, like, someone died that was at his hands. And I'm not going to spoil it and say who died, but it's like a major person. And you don't realize that until the 3rd book, that it was his fault that a lot of these bad things. And you're like, oh, I understand why everybody's scared of him. But I'm sorry, his redemption arc, like, it's so good. I love him so much. And definitely more than the other main characters who more people like. Like, there's a character called Kaladin. He's one of the main characters as well. More people vibe with him. I don't vibe with him as much. I think he has too much trauma. That's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
But Dalinar, we love. Yeah. I think you would like Dalinar. If you
Okay.
ever get to these books.
Okay, speaking of maybe potentially warmongers
Ooh.
and everything, my second vibe with is Rurik from Kingdom of Claw.
Okay. I'm not mad at it.
Yes.
I'm not mad at that
Yes.
at all.
So we love a foreign man with an accent
Yes.
who is, secretly trying to do some stuff and is just being sneaky around a castle of his enemies while he's there as like a guest, and then happens to run into a woman who... I'm not going to ruin anything with the Ashen series, but he runs into a woman and helps her kind of break through her fear. I know you have feelings about Saga.
Do I just have things with people that have trauma?
Maybe. I don't know. But he kind of helps her try to break through her trauma a little bit and helps her on her sneakiness as well. And everything gets ruined by a kiss in a courtyard.
Ooh. But it's a spicy kiss.
It is a spicy kiss. It's a good kiss.
It is a good kiss. It is a good kiss.
It's a good kiss.
I don't like her, but I still ship it.
Demi Winters, ma'am, you are doing phenomenal on this series,
Never
and
stop
we
writing.
are looking forward to the future of anything that you write.
Literally anything.
Literally anything.
You write it, I read it.
Exactly.
Without question.
Automatic buy. You're
You
an
could
automatic
start
buy.
writing dark romance. I'll read it. It's fine. I'll become a dark romance girly.
See, and I feel like Rurik has the potential
Yeah.
to be a dark romance man.
I'm actually really excited where they're going to go with book 3 and him.
Yes.
I really want to see what's going to... I want to give spoilers, so I want to talk
I
about
know,
the theories and everything,
but it's so
it's
hard.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
If-
is...
If you guys haven't read The Ashen yet, you need to.
Yes.
It's great. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm kind of telling you what to do.
You definitely should.
It's fine. It's great,
But you should.
but you should.
Okay. So my number one vibe with... I'm so sorry. I have to talk about Throne of Glass. And I was going to try to make it through this entire series without talking about Throne of Glass.
I'm so shocked.
But we can't do it. And since I couldn't narrow it down to one character, because I love most of them, not all of them, Kale, I'm looking at you. Since I love most of them, I'm just going with the women of Throne of Glass.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating. I can't
It's
pick
cheating.
one.
You
No, I
can't
just pick
You
one.
can't. But that's like me picking all of the lords.
Okay, pick them all.
No.
Okay, but if Manon, Lysandra, Aelin, they all have their own and those 3 specifically. I'm going to go with those. No, even, Foot Girl.
Not Foot Girl. No.
You can't get mad at me. I have baby brain.
A lead?
Yeah.
Not.
I was about to
Girl.
say Eden. I was like, wait, I'm way off on this one.
I actually really like a lead.
I love a lead.
Yeah.
I love her and
I like
Ooh,
her
she
enough
has
to
a-
remember her name.
I have baby brain. I could barely remember your name earlier. I think I wrote Michelle with an S earlier. But all the women of this book, of Throne of Glass in general, are just powerhouses. And yes, they have their own trauma, and I don't hold their trauma against them because they move past it. And they don't harp on their trauma.
You just haven't given Saga a chance.
I do think Saga's going to get her redemption arc.
I do.
I really, really do. But I also read that when I was going through something and I didn't care about other people's trauma.
Yeah.
So I do think that plays a factor in how much you like a book or not.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And I was going to initially, my number one was going to be Rowan. Because we were going to do only book boyfriends. And then we're
Yeah.
like, hey, let's make it all genders. Like, who do we vibe with overall?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I love Aelin more than I love Rowan. I'm like, well, what
As
about...
you should.
Right. And I'm like, well, what about Manon? Well, what about Lysandra? And they all have their own...
They do. They
You
do.
know.
And I love Manon.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a dark romance
Yeah.
girly. Manon is like the,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give spoilers on Throne of Glass because I feel like a lot of people are first time reading it now
I mean, it's been
because
over
of
10
book
years.
talk.
Yes.
So, I mean, Manon is just, I love her.
She's a queen.
Yes.
I love them. Okay.
You could literally spend a whole episode talking
literally
about
could
Throne.
I could spend an old episode talking about each individual character.
You could. You
yeah.
could.
I can rant on this all day.
And that's why,
I'm not going to.
it's your comfort series.
It is
That's
my comfort
fine.
series. It's getting me out of a book slump right now, and that's what I need. So, you want to go to your final vibe with?
My final vibe with is Lana Myers from the Mindfuck series.
Support you.
I love this woman and the strength that she gathered and did what she needed to do. And yes, she needed to do it
Facts.
to get revenge. Love it. This woman went through so much trauma. I was in tears when I read her whole story.
Yes.
So sad.
It's heartbreaking.
It's so sad. It's, my heart goes out for that character.
Yeah.
And it sounds weird that it's one of those things where it's like she's not real,
Yeah.
but
I was relating so much.
she was written so well.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, we won't be getting any more St. Abby books.
Yeah.
But that book, well, it's a series.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I rated each book 4 stars.
Yeah.
But as a series, it's 5.
I did the same exact thing. Yeah.
And I feel like had it just been one book versus 4 or 5,
Yeah. 5 books. Yeah.
I would have immediately
5 stars.
5
Easy
stars.
5.
Yeah.
The whole series. So if you read it just as one book and without each one individually, I do think it is 5 stars.
Yeah.
Just read it as one.
Yeah.
And it's 5 stars. Yeah.
It's great. It is.
She makes her characters like, okay, no, I've not been through what she's been through, but her characters are relatable. Like I can still put, or maybe she just writes like I can put myself into their shoes. Like I'm like feeling their pain. I'm like, oh my god, this is like,
It hurts.
it hurts.
It
Yeah.
hurts. Like, and then also the town that gets visited towards the end.
Yeah.
Like, you feel their pain.
Yeah.
You go through all of it,
Yeah.
and it's just so deep and it's so dark.
It is.
But it's so worth the read.
Yeah.
And then also there's Special Agent Logan Bennett, who,
Could be another vibe with. I'll vibe with him.
could vibe with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would vibe with him.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was married, I'd vibe with him.
But like, and then too, she doesn't go back on her decisions.
Yeah.
That one situation where she's in the town and ends up having the option of staying in the town and bypassing one of her targets.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I have to get this target. I'm sticking to it and I'm doing it. I'm making a smart decision. It's great. However, there are characters that do make really stupid decisions.
Yeah.
And one of them I don't vibe with. And that is DM Bellator
Okay. Yep. Yep.
from Spark of the Everflame.
Yep.
So I really liked the first book. The first book was great.
So good.
I think I actually texted you while I was reading it, and I was
Yeah.
like, this book has me kicking my feet and
You
like
did.
giggling and squealing, like
I
all
even
of
think
it.
I was like at the end of another book, and I was like, okay, that's my next read, and I
Yeah.
immediately started reading it because we started reading them around the same time.
Yeah,
Because of that.
And it was so good, that first book, but Diem is such a not likable character, especially as you go through the series. She just makes some really dumb decisions, but also I'm sitting there and she's denying this man
Yeah.
who is crawling for her. He is groveling for her to
Yes.
give him a chance. Like,
And she still keeps going after that other
human
one.
piece of poo.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is? We won't get into it.
Yeah,
'cause
we
the
won't
books
get-
aren't out yet. All of them are out.
Yeah, we won't get into any spoilers, but she has a boyfriend from a human world, well, from the human side of the world.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, I'm feeling this Fae man who is super hot and is wanting to help me do all of the things that I want to do
Yeah.
to make the Fae and the human get along better.
Yeah.
But this human man who doesn't necessarily treat me the best in the world, he still has my heart. And it's like, girl, come on. That is something
Yeah.
that, yes, we do see in real life. Like, you
Oh
know.
yeah, 100%.
But that's too much of something we see
Yes.
in real life.
Yes.
So,
I would have
Don't
to say
vibe
that was
with.
my least favorite part of that book too.
Yep.
That I'm like, just stand on business, ma'am.
yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, my first don't vibe with, and for a very specific part of book talk, this is going to be a crazy statement, is Kelsier from Mistborn series. And that is like a major, major character. And he is one of the most beloved characters in the series.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah, right. I'm my
Coming
don't
for them.
my don't vibe with list is I think it's gonna be a little spicy. But only if you know these series, of course. But definitely Mistborn. I don't know. It was my favorite series, but now I feel like Stormlight Archives is my favorite series, but maybe Mistborn is still my favorite Brandon Sanderson series because Throne of Glass is still up
Yeah.
there also. But Kelsier, in my opinion, is so cocky the entire time. And yes, he has his trauma too, and maybe I just don't like his trauma either.
You are anti-trauma, girl.
But I'm not like Lana. She's got her trauma, and I support her.
Yeah,
You know? But she's standing on business and getting shit done.
that's true. I also read a lot of traumatic characters.
Yeah.
So, and you don't.
I don't.
Your trauma characters are few and far between.
They are.
And they have to be written
Well.
very well.
They
Yeah.
do. I need them to be able to move past. I can't have it be their entire personality. When it becomes their entire personality and we're not moving past it, I think that's when I have my issue. And Cal's here. Cal's here standing on business. He's getting stuff done, but he's just very cocky and I don't know. I could go into this one pretty deep, but I won't. But I just don't vibe with him. I like all the side characters a lot more in this series, and I think how he treats them sometimes is kind of messed up, and I guess that's what I don't like, is that how he's treating like his entourage, essentially. And I love his entourage, and he kind of treats them poorly, in my opinion, and keeps stuff from them, and keeps secrets from them, doesn't tell them the grand plan. So I think that's my issue with him. Just a little cocky.
You know who else doesn't tell their inner circle their grand plan?
I have no idea who you're talking about. She does it for a reason. Okay? Aelin does it for a reason. Okay? And you know this.
I just had to trigger you a little bit.
She's been burned too many times.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Who's your next don't vibe with character? Are you going to just start saying Aelin now? I'm just kidding.
No, I vibe with Aelin very hard. Yes. That woman, whoo. Good job, SJM.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah.
For my next don't vibe with, Millennial Pause. I don't remember.
You should have read them like I did.
I should have. Oh, this one is probably going to be a little spicy.
Ooh, I'm ready.
Lark Kane from Leather and Lark.
Oh, yes.
I love Lachlan.
Love Lachlan.
Lachlan was great. Lark, I don't know what it was. I just could not connect with her at all. And I don't know if it's because she treated Lachlan not great towards the beginning. Like, I understand that it's enemies to lovers, but, and I love an enemies to lovers, but it just it wasn't vibing with me at the time. And I don't know if it's because I also listened to it where the audios were a little off, where his was quieter and hers was louder.
It was really bad with that.
Yeah. They did better with Scythe and Sparrow, though.
Okay.
Because it's the same two.
I still haven't read it. I tried.
I know.
I did my best.
And then also she sings during it, and it just was not hitting the way that I think it was supposed to hit. I still enjoyed the plot line. I still...
It was good.
Yeah.
With any other main character, it would have been great.
Yeah. Like, it was still a good book. I just did not vibe with Lark.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, no, Lark was... She was not it for me.
And she just kind of, like... I feel like in the first book... with Butcher and Blackbird, she was, like, this bubbly best friend and whatever. And, she, like, in Leather and Lark, she was like, oh, yeah, Sloane doesn't know because I'm afraid she'll be mad at me or judge me or something.
Right.
I don't remember what it was exactly.
Sloane's a literal serial
and
killer.
it's like, Sloane's a literal serial killer, too.
Yeah.
So, and you know that.
Right.
So why do you think she would be not happy that you are as well? And it's just, I don't know. It was just one of those things where... out of the blue, Lark is a serial killer too, and it's
like,
I
thought it was disjointed almost. Like it was very out of character, and yeah, I agree with you. I fully support you in this one.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I always support you.
Don't wink at me.
I'll wink at you guys. I actually just learned to wink like 3 or 4 years ago.
Really?
I could not wink before that. Yeah, that's why my winks are really bad. Because I'm still like learning a little bit.
Okay.
But, Fun fact about me. You guys are welcome. It's my random fact of the day, I guess.
When I was in elementary school, the boys would go play football at recess or whatever, and the girls, we would like be their cheerleaders. Yeah. And at one point, I was like, Britney Spears had just come out with a Pepsi commercial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Iconic.
I remember being like, I'll be the halftime show. And I just like ran out there and I was like, I'm not going to repeat the commercial because I don't know if I can. But she sings her little part and she winks. And I sang the little part and I go, and it's so cringe to me
I wish
now.
we had a video of that. I'd play it right now.
Gosh. I'm glad we don't.
I'm so glad. I'm glad that we don't have videos. I don't have like a ton of videos growing up or anything. But my daughter, I have her whole life recorded pretty much, and I actually have to like balance the recording and not recording. But I want to embarrass her one day, you know, like with all these videos. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so who's your next don't vibe with?
Well, besides my wink that I just did.
Sorry, headphone users.
Okay, so I think now that my light's fixed,
We'll talk about that. The light fell.
the light did fall. Now that my light's fixed, my next vibe with, or don't vibe with,
Don't
because I
vibe
do not
with,
vibe
yeah.
with him. We're going back to throwing a glass. Adian. How he treats Lysandra is so freaking dirty. So dirty. And I can go on a rant with
It's-
Adian.
Not just the way he treats Lysandra,
It's
though.
how he treats everybody.
It's how he treats everybody,
Yeah.
but even Aelin. Like, when she comes back and the whole Rowan thing, and Adian's like, but what about me? And you're like, Adian, it's not about you.
It's not about you, and also she hasn't seen you in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't know if you were alive. She didn't know what was going on with you. So it's literally not about you.
Yeah.
So I just have a lot of issues with him. I do not like how he acts. And I mean, he does have a slight redemption at the end, kind of. But then his main love interest, he just treats like crap. Like, literally kicks her out of a tent naked at some point.
In the cold. Snow.
In the cold, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like snow and everything.
After she's been fighting all day and she's
Yes.
exhausted. She literally has saved them multiple times. And he can't, like, yes, she did something, or she knew something, didn't tell him. It was crappy of her. But at the same time, like,
That's not...
you're in love with this person. You can't have an adult conversation and hear her out.
Yeah.
So, I don't like how it was handled. I don't like how she was treated. I just don't like him.
And two, it's giving, when a man does something, or not just a man, a woman can also do things wrong, and non-binary people can also do things wrong.
Yes.
But they go and do something mean, right? Like toss Lysandra out
Yeah.
into the snow, stark naked after a battle, and then immediately, like a day or two later, come back and be like, well, why aren't you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. And then turns around and does it again.
It's giving abusive.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's like, okay, cool. You're like the one cute blonde man in books, but
Yeah. You're
No.
also an asshole like all the other cute blonde men in books.
Yeah.
Tamlin.
ooh, is Adian Tamlin?
I don't think he's that bad, but I mean, I don't think SJM likes blondes very much.
I don't think she likes blondes either,
Yeah.
except for blonde women.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah, she does like blonde women.
Aelin-
Manon.
Aylin's blonde. Manon
Manon
has
is-
white
Yeah,
hair,
yeah.
but I would put her on the blonde side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she likes blonde women, but doesn't like blonde men. Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Oh man, are you saying you like me?
No.
Are you saying you like me? I think that's what she just said. Don't listen to her. Okay, who's your final don't vibe with?
This also comes from a book that I actually really enjoyed. This book legit made me cry.
Okay.
And it's because of what happened. And who I don't want to ruin it. Okay. I'm not going to ruin it.
It's good.
I'm
No
going to
spoilers.
be very vague. Liam Waters from A Fabric of Our Soul, or
Okay.
Fabric of Our Souls. It was actually the first KM Moranova. I'm sorry if I butchered that. book that I read, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's centered around a girl who, the first sentence is like, she wants to die.
Oh.
Right? She wants to die, and so she gets sent to this therapy clinic where there's other suicidal people, and they're all living together, and they get to know each other.
Okay.
They have groups, all of that. Well, her roommate is Liam Waters.
Ooh.
And it becomes enemies to lovers. And I enjoy their love story a little bit. But to me, Liam is very gaslighting.
Ew.
And I don't like that, especially when it comes to your trauma is why I'm traumatized.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
So
It sounds exhausting.
it was
Yeah.
a little bit, because there's like at one point he gets really upset and goes off and leaves when the female main character with Lanston, who is also in this clinic, who also has they all have suicidal tendencies, but he had recently tried to commit suicide when we meet him, or can I even say suicide on YouTube? I don't know.
Unalived.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know we can't on TikTok.
I know we can't on TikTok. I think you can on... We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I guess if we get blocked.
And he had like gone and ran off, and she was like, why are you so upset? I don't understand. Like, why are you so upset right now?
Yeah.
And he's like, because you guys just want to leave this earth and da 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 da, and that's what makes me sad, is like, that's what my trauma is that you want to leave and you're just going to leave me here. And it's just like, dude, why are you, they're currently working on it. You all are in the same clinic.
Right. You also want to do the same thing she wants to do.
Yeah.
You're here also.
Well, that's the weird thing, is that Liam wants to live. It's really weird.
Okay.
It's
giving manipulative.
it
More gaslighting.
gaslighting. It's more gaslighting
Okay,
than
okay.
it is manipulative. But I mean, it is a dark romance, and
Yeah.
it does have dark themes and stuff.
Makes sense, yeah.
But
If you're talking about unaliving, I'm taking dark themes with it, for sure.
yeah, I just couldn't vibe with him.
Yeah.
And something happens that makes me so sad, and I cried, and I was like, this is the first book that's made me cry in a long time. And by a long time, I mean mindfuck, I think was maybe a couple of months before this. But for me, that's,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to make me emotional, and it made me emotional.
Is it a book I would like?
You might,
Maybe.
maybe. I would say you...
Make sure I'm not going through trauma at the time.
Yeah, make
Okay.
sure you're not going through trauma at the time. But I mean, everybody's traumatized. There's trauma everywhere. But there is a mystery.
Oh, I love mysteries.
Yes, there is a mystery as well.
I do love a good mystery
There is
novel.
a side quest
Yeah.
for our gamers out there.
Oh, nice. We love a good side quest.
Yes.
Do I even want to talk about my final don't vibe with? Should I hide before?
Should. You should.
Should I hide?
Because the last episode, I may or may not have called this author out a little bit. And that's fine.
Okay. My final don't vibe with...
Speak with your chest.
My final don't vibe with is Zayden Ryerson. Sorry, audio. Or headphone users. I said it. There, you can't take it back now. Oh, yeah. So my final is Zayden Ryerson. Almost kind of for the same reason that I don't vibe with some of the other characters. It's a secret keeping that he has from Violet, who is the female main character of Fourth Wing. And so in the second book, these are very light spoilers. If you have not read these books yet, you might want to just skip a little bit forward. So very light spoilers. He held a secret from her. She finds out. She's irritated with him. And he said, I'll tell you anything you want to know if you ask the right question.
I hate that. Just tell me.
Just freaking tell me. Right.
And what do you mean by the right question?
Right.
Like, if I ask you a question and it's not worded perfectly, are you
Kind
not
of.
going to give me the
No,
answer
yes,
that I want?
That's kind of what's happening
I
throughout
hate that. See, let's just keep adding to the list why I'm not reading the Empyrean series.
And it's like, I do like them together. Like, ultimately, I do want them to be together.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do, at least. I haven't read Onyx Storm yet. And honestly, I think I'm going to wait till the 4th book comes out before I read Onyx Storm. She hasn't even started writing the 4th book. Why do I want to leave on a cliffhanger of the 3rd book?
And in fact, when a fan asked her, when is the 4th book happening? And she goes, never.
I think she was joking.
I don't care. It's rude. Here I go again.
You know who's rude? Zayden. That's who's rude. But we don't need to make this a 4th Wing hate series, but
we can make it a Throne of Glass love and a 4th Wing hate. I don't care.
And I love 4th Wing, the 1st book, and I like the 2nd book. I just really don't like the secret keeping part of it. I really don't. Mm-hmm. And again, okay, somebody that we work with who likes Xaden and likes Aelin asked me the same question. What? Aelin keeps secrets. Why don't you dislike her? But Aelin has her reasonings for keeping things secret. When she told her plan, people died. Mm-hmm. And that's not what's going on with Xaden. He trying to protect a movement, but the movement she already knows about and is supporting. It's not the same to me. Yeah. It isn't the same. And maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong, and we can discuss it in the comments. I'm perfectly happy doing that. Let's have some rage bait. It's Xaden, you know?
Yeah, anything, I mean, comment who you do vibe with and who you don't vibe with.
And let us know if you agree with us.
Yeah, if you agree, if you don't agree, we can go back and forth in the comments a little bit. Just make it respectful. We do not want any disrespect in comments. Don't come for people.
No, like, at all.
We want to make it like how book talk should be and make it like a positive, we have a differing of opinions type thing.
Yep.
But nothing.
You come and say Xaden's your favorite character. I'm going to support you. You tell me why. I want to hear it. Maybe I'm just like not seeing the whole picture, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what are you currently reading?
I am currently reading Vengeful.
Okay.
By V.E. Schwab.
Love V.E. Schwab.
It's the 2nd book.
Okay.
After Vicious.
Yes. I really want to read this series.
It's good.
Okay.
It's not my favorite.
Okay. Is it not your favorite because you're in a little bit of a book slump right now? So do you think it's playing into that at all?
The book slump is definitely playing into it. But it's just, I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Like, it's good. I would still suggest reading it. Okay. You might really enjoy it.
I do like V.E. Schwab too. So
yeah. And this is my first like V.E. Schwab venture.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
Okay.
So, and I still want to read like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
I liked it a lot. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars though. I know there's people on here that absolute favorite book. It was not like my absolute favorite book, but I really do enjoy it. And I like how she writes. Mm-hmm. So I think it's unique.
Yeah. No, I'm enjoying like her writing style and stuff. I'm just thinking maybe this isn't the story for me right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm still enjoying it. I just might not be enjoying it as much as I could be.
Okay. Yeah,
it's a me thing.
Yeah. It's me, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And what's your current read?
My current read is Throne of Glass series. I'm on Heir of Fire right now. I was book slumping hard. I talked about it last time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I just needed like a really big comfort series to get me out of it. This is my fifth time through this series. Mm-hmm. I actually am better than everybody and read it when it was coming out the first time. Okay. And I'm joking about that. I'm joking. I am seriously joking. But I was reading them. I think the first 3 were out when I started reading them. And so I had to wait for book 4. Mm-hmm. And then I waited for book 5.
Mm-hmm. And then book 6 came out.
And you know what else came out between book 5 and book 7? Where massive cliffhanger at book 5. And she released 6, and then I want to say Alcatar came out between then also. So I'm waiting like literally 2 years for 5 and 7.
Yeah.
It was fine. I was fine. Like, I was fine. I'm okay.
So I kind of understand your disappointment.
Yeah.
because you did have to wait the 2 years.
Yes.
Being somebody that read the series
All at once.
all at once, it's finished. I think I can appreciate the 6th book a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
But-
a common, like, that's a conversation we have a lot. I don't like Kale. I don't like him. I don't mind him in the first 2 books, but he is not, like, you can tell he is not the one for Selena at all. And then in book 3, really, and then book 4 really start to hate him.
Yeah.
And then I don't like him after that. I just don't. He has a little bit of a character redemption arc in 6 and 7, but it just isn't enough for me, and I never have gotten over my dislike of him. I'll never get over my dislike of him.
Yeah.
I read book 6, not for him. I read it for everybody else.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You at least read it.
I do. Oh, Irene, she could have been included in my Women of Throne of Glass also.
I like her, but I don't include her in that.
She's not top tier. She's like second
not.
tier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not compare her to Aelin, definitely.
No one compares to Aelin.
Yeah. Nor would I compare her to... I wouldn't even compare her to a lead who isn't quite as focused on as the other top 3 women.
Yeah.
And also, I hate pregnancy tropes. I hate them.
Too. And I don't think there's...
And
It didn't fit very... Like, I kind of thought it was random. Like, it wasn't a...
It was, like...
Why do we have a pregnancy trope during this major war? Whatever.
It's not really a spoiler, guys.
It's not.
It's fine.
They've also been out for like 10 years. And I know people are reading them for the first time. So,
Yeah.
sorry if I am giving spoilers away. But we have to decide at what point are we like, hey, we're talking about this book. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. It being a small thing is,
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not giving away a plot point.
It really isn't.
No.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's it for us, though.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we only had to pause one time this time.
That's great.
Because of the falling light. Technical difficulties this time. Not my loud water shushing between us.
Hey, we didn't cut that out, though.
We did it. And it wasn't even that loud.
No, it wasn't. But, until next time, keep questioning the things between black and white.
Bye, guys. See you on the cruise.